Management of the University of Ghana says it will continue to implement its latest policy of reserving all traditional halls on campus for first-year students. The Old Vandals Association has taken the management of the university to court over claims the policy will eventually convert the all-male facility into a mixed one. Reacting to the concerns, however, Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nanaba Appiah-Amfo, says the school is only implementing residential policies which is aiming to protect the most vulnerable sect of the university community. She also advised university alumni to refrain from forcing their views on university management.
That was out there that this management led by my good self has turned the hall into a mixed hall, or had the intention to turn the hall into the mixed hall. Nothing like that has ever come up in all the discussions, in all the committee discussions and the eventual council decision. What the policy that we put out there, which we are implementing, is for us to reserve the traditional halls for our first year students. And that happens right here in this country. In other institutions, you go to KNUST, you go to UCC, that's exactly what happens. We are rather late coming to this late in the day, and that's what happens all over the world. You give priority to your most vulnerable students, and your most vulnerable students are those who are coming into the institution for the very first time. With regard to Commonwealth Hall and parts of Mensa Saba Hall, we implemented for the other halls, it's a gradual implementation, but for these two halls, we implemented the policy fully immediately, also because of the disturbances that were going on at the time between the students of these two halls. So I needed to yes, I needed to clear the air on that.
So you still go ahead?
Oh, the policy is being implemented. Yeah.
Which means technically?
Oh, which means that these halls and all of the traditional halls are reserved for our first year students and graduate students. So you come into the hall, first year level 100. After level 100, you would have to leave the hall and make room for the new set of fresh students who are coming in. So you leave the hall and find accommodation in the other halls and hostels on campus, the UGL halls and other private hostels on and around campus.
What do you feel this sense of entitlement, if we may have to describe it that way, is coming from or stemming from? Is it a matter of ego, prestige, you know, brotherhood, if we can call it as such, because the males have dominated over the years?
Well, Blessed, I told you that this whole matter is in court. So, I mean, when we are done with that, I'll be happy to sit down with you and have a full conversation around this, because I do not think that you can.
We've been joined by the Deputy Ranking Member of Education on the committee, Education Committee of Parliament, who is himself an old vandal, Dr. Clement Appiah. Grateful for your time, Doc. What do you make of the insistence of the university's decision to actually implement its latest policy of reserving all traditional halls on campus for first-year students?
Well, Aisha, let me say good morning to you and to viewers. Well, I think the management of the University of Ghana has every right to, if you like, create and implement policies. But the challenge we have is that the university ought to understand that management is not the only stakeholder as far as the university is concerned. And it is the case with any institution of higher learning. I say so because alumni has a role to play, and alumni has always played a role both in terms of mobilizing financial and other support to assist the university and universities to achieve their goals and objectives, and also intervening when and where necessary. I am glad that the Vice Chancellor, whom I have known for several years, in fact, we both studied in Norway. We were both at the University of Bergen. We both resided in the Fantop student hostel. And I am her senior, by the way. And I am glad that she has acknowledged that there is a case in court and that she wouldn't want to speak to it in terms of the impasse that has brought about that current policy that she spoke to. But you see, we have long argued that our hall and our tradition, which is obviously an envy of other competitors, has been targeted over the years. And we are of the opinion that what happened on the basis of which this policy was introduced was all orchestrated to try and dismantle the brotherhood and the fraternity that we enjoy exclusively as students and alumni of Commonwealth.
Interest of the university to target just one hall.
Yes, it is obvious. All of this that they are talking about, all of these policies, it is all to ensure that there is no quote-unquote continuity in terms of students who enter first year and are in Commonwealth Hall, so they can go along to final year, because their perception or their analysis suggests that when the students are in the hall, then the seniors are able to, for lack of a better word, indoctrinate the juniors into our peculiar ways of being vandals. So by only taking in first year and then saying that after that you need to go and find another hall, and that they are only going to bring graduate students, they clearly are breaking that learning process where seniors will be there to orient and indoctrinate juniors, which then keeps our tradition going. So all of this arrangement is targeted at Commonwealth. I can say that without any fear of favor of contradiction.
The university says the decision aims at protecting the vulnerable sects of the university. What would you have had the university do in the current situation it finds itself?
Well, the university doesn't have a problem. This is not the first time that we have had challenges on campus. And it is not only confined to the University of Ghana. It is not only confined to Commonwealth against Sabah or Commonwealth against Lagos. I mean, it happens in UCC. It happens in the KNUST. And even in the renowned universities in other parts of the world, if you were to look at the history of Cambridge and Oxford, they have fraternities. It is not unusual. But the reason why we feel targeted is because of what happened and how it was dealt with. How is it that you claim that there was a fight between members of Commonwealth Hall and another hall? You were not able to provide evidence, even when we challenged you. And yet you went ahead to suspend the hallmaster and tutor of Commonwealth Hall, and to suspend students of that hall. Without providing the evidence, you have gone on to act on a report that was written by a committee whose composition and work we are even contested. So all of these matters we are taken to court. So if you look at the circumstances, the context, the reaction of the university, their inability to answer questions that, the Old Vandals Association had presented. Their inability to provide the evidence, because they claim that they had CCTV and all of that. And we asked for all of those pieces of evidence. They never made them available.
I'm sure.
And we know for a fact that on that fateful day, on our side of the information we have, there were vast loads of young men who were brought on campus who were not members of Commonwealth Hall.
Well, that's your word against that of the university. We are hoping that this matter will definitely be settled in the court. Dr. Clement Park is a deputy ranking member of the Education Committee of Parliament. Let's take